Hello and welcome to the Sober Mom Life podcast. This is our 15-minute weekend reset today. It's the last Friday of 2025. This is just a bite-sized episode for you to, get your mind right for the weekend and to help keep that momentum you have going through the week to help you for the weekend. Since this is the last Friday of 2025, this is going to be more of maybe a gentle look back. I don't know about you guys, but I always feel pressure at the end of the year and at the beginning of the year. And let's be honest, the middle of the year too. There's just always pressure. No, this can definitely be a time where I don't know, we're expected to look back at our year and see all that we have accomplished, right? And we can see everybody's kind of retrospectives and say, oh man, you did a lot. And what about me and all of that. So, in an effort to kind of quell those, I don't know, negative thoughts, especially when it comes to drinking or sobriety, maybe you're not where you want to be in your sobriety. Maybe you're not where you thought you would be by the end of the year. Maybe this year has been more about drinking with your eyes open, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of that. Sobriety is not this pass fail situation. This isn't you either are doing it or you're failing at it and you got to do it right. No. When it comes to alcohol and you've been drinking it for probably decades, we're in it for long lasting change. And part of that change, a very important stage, can be you're drinking with the blinders off, right? You're noticing how you feel after one drink. You're noticing then how you feel after two drinks and that you're not quite catching that warm, fuzzy feeling anymore that you were searching for after that first drink. And so, how are you feeling not only the next morning, but 2 days after you drink, 3 days after? How's your mental health? How's your sleep? How's your skin? How's your patience with your kids? All of this stuff is so important. And so today I just want to kind of walk through maybe what this year has been for you. It can be easy to look back and say, oh, nothing's changed, right? Alcohol was in my life in January. It's still in my life in December, and I'm not doing this right, and I'm not where I want it to be. And I understand that kind of gut reaction to do that. But remember, here at the Sober Mom Life, I'm helping you do things differently when it comes to drinking and sobriety. And so what if we kind of reframe how you're looking at your year and then also how you're looking at going into 2026? We'll be talking a lot about how January is not going to be this kind of better you, this new year, new you thing, right? This reinvention, but instead maybe a continuation of this change that you're undergoing and this really monumental change that is taking place. I want you to remember that so much about sobriety and the change that's taking place can be invisible. And so it's okay if you don't have a flashy reel to share about how far you've come this year. That's okay. It's okay if you can't show it in pictures and something tangible, because the change that's inside is so much more foundational, right? And so we're not going to measure our year by outcomes or days crossed off. If the days crossed off, if that does propel you, then do that, right? But if that only, makes you sink deeper into this feeling of you're not where you want to be, then throw it out. Okay, so instead of asking ourselves, did I change enough? Am I sober enough? Did I do enough? Did I have enough non-drinking days? We're going to think about these changes instead. So I want you to think about 5 things that might have changed this year that are huge. And I'm not just saying huge for you. I'm saying like generational changing. The work that you're doing, this inner work that no one else can see, that we're not going to necessarily post on Facebook, right? All of this stuff is what counts. So, as you think about how far you've come this year, I want you to answer these questions. Maybe you catch yourself sooner, right? You catch yourself romanticizing alcohol sooner. You catch yourself falling into old patterns sooner or old habits sooner. Does that mean that alcohol didn't make its way in? Maybe not, but you still catch yourself, right? And you notice, you're aware, you're awake to notice your patterns. That is not nothing. You guys, that is huge. That is regulation. That is you learning how to live within yourself in sobriety and without alcohol. That's huge. Okay. The second one is maybe you argue with the story in your head. Maybe you don't just blindly believe your thoughts. That's huge. Maybe you have some self-awareness about how your thoughts can be not only wrong, but maybe super fucked up, right? Especially if you have OCD like I do. Our thoughts are so wrong. You guys, our brains are so wrong. And maybe before this year, before this work in sobriety, you've kind of believed your thoughts and you thought they were predictive, or if you thought about alcohol that you needed to have a drink. Now, maybe you argue with that story in your head a little bit. You don't automatically believe your thoughts. You pause, you give yourself time to question it. And then that allows you to choose something different. That's awareness. Again, that's huge. Maybe this year you are learning to be more honest about what drains you. This one can't be overstated how important this is. We are all busy, we are all tired, are all pulled in a million different directions. And chances are alcohol has always kind of come in as the hero to help you, I don't know, to carry it all and show up for it all and just wear yourself into the ground for it all. Choosing not to do that anymore is huge. That's the beginning of all change, is for you to be able to say, okay, this isn't worth the cost. If that's people, if that's places, if that's activities, if that's behaviors or patterns or old habits, whatever that is, you have recognized the cost and you realize what it takes from you, and what it takes is far more than what it gives. And that includes alcohol. Alcohol is probably the top of the list, right? And that is huge. That right there is change. Number 4 is you stopped forcing yourself to want things that you don't. Oh my gosh. You threw out the shoulds. You stopped shoulding all over yourself. Also, remember, these are all in progress, right? We're not going to check off a list yep, did that, done. No, these are all ongoing. But you are less interested in people pleasing and pretending and having this kind of idea of what you should do, what should be done, what you should attend, who you should like, what you should like. And instead, you're getting quiet to really focus on, what do you want? I think that, when I quit drinking at 39, I hadn't asked myself that. What do I like doing? Who do I want to be? Now that alcohol is no longer a part of my identity, we're getting to choose that, and you get to choose that. And stopping forcing yourselves to want things that you actually don't want, whether that's going to parties, hanging out with people that you don't want to hang out with, whatever that is for you. I hope you feel what a big deal that is. And I hope you're proud of yourself. And lastly, you don't abandon yourself as quickly. Oh man, you don't abandon yourself, you guys. And note that I said as quickly. This is an ongoing thing. That my favorite thing about sobriety is that I come home to myself. And that's a practice, right? In getting quiet and shutting out the outside noise and really feeling, is this serving me? How am I feeling and what do I need in this moment? That is a continual process, and you're learning the language of yourself. If you started doing that this year, and if you listen to this podcast, that means you started doing that this year, because that's what we do here. That is kind of all we do here. That's kind of my mission in life, is for women to be able to get quiet, shut out the outside noise, and to listen and trust themselves. If you asked me one thing that I wanted for women and moms, it's that. It is that, to get quiet and learn to trust themselves and to hear how they feel and what they need. And so if you are in the process of breaking up with alcohol, if you are in early sobriety, if you have some time under your belt in sobriety, you are doing these things. You have done these things this year. Even if alcohol is a part of this year's story for you, that is not a failure. That does not mean you failed at sobriety this year. You are in process of changing. You are changing by doing these things. And so I don't want you to overlook that. I want you to look at this journey. I always try to think of a better word for it. There's just not. I feel like The Bachelor ruined the word journey for me, but that's kind of all, that's all that there is to call it. And so if you're on this journey, I'm so proud of you. I think, I say it a lot. I say it on Instagram, and maybe I don't say it on here enough, but man, choosing to really look at your relationship with alcohol and get quiet, intentionally quiet, and check in with yourself on how you feel, and in turn learn what you need. I think that is the most important, most fucking badass thing you can do. And in no way is it a failure. If alcohol came in and you had a data point, that is just more information, right? You stop yourself from the shame spiral and beating yourself up, because that doesn't work. We've tried that before. And instead, it's reminding yourself how you're doing things differently, how you're talking to yourself differently, how you're showing up differently to support yourself in this sobriety journey. You don't need the highlight reel to prove just how important this year has been and what you have accomplished this year. If you're a little more honest, a little more aware, a little less willing to put up with some bullshit, and a little more willing to connect with yourself and let those around you know how you feel and what you need, I mean, man, you had a good year. So as we, move into January, I want to caution you from, taking on all of the things. New year, new you, better, faster, healthier, less sugar, blah, 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 right? Like, we don't need the pressure. We're going to try softer in January too. We're going to continue this work. I will be here. I'll be here doing this weekend reset for you every Friday, along with our regular episodes on Monday, so that we can just continue to tell the truth about alcohol, and then also help you really connect with yourself. You learn to trust yourself and get quiet so you can learn how you feel and what you need. That's it. And that is so much. I say that's it, but that is it, right? It's probably everything. This is the kind of change, and these are the perspective shifts that I write about in my book, The Sober Shift. I can't tell you how much I love hearing from you guys and how much you're loving the book. I say this a lot, but obviously not enough, because I can't say it enough. You guys have made my dreams come true. The book is, it's doing so well, and I'm so grateful that it's helping you and you're finding yourself in its pages. That's really why I wrote it. I wanted to hold your hand through this whole process, and I wanted it to be a book that you can come back to when you need these reminders. The podcast gets there, but the book goes so much deeper. Yeah, if you haven't gotten it yet, January, is a perfect time to start this journey. Yeah, it's available in all forms. So it's in hardcover, it's ebook, and then it's Audible, because I narrated it. So you get to listen to me. Just have one AirPod in while you're doing laundry, while you're washing the dishes, while you're driving to work, while you're carpooling your kids. It really does help to know that you're not alone in this journey of finding freedom from alcohol and the hell of moderation, everything that we talk about. So I will link that in the show notes. It's called The Sober Shift, a modern day guide to living an abundant, sober life. And I am so excited for a new year. We will keep going. We will keep showing up and telling the truth. And I will meet you back here on Monday. If you have loved the podcast this year, if it has helped you at all, please consider leaving a 5-star review. That does really help us. And then share it with a friend. Share it with someone who you think might like it, because we got to spread the word, guys. Thank you so much. And cheers to 2025, whatever it looked like for you. I am so proud of you. And here's to 2026.